These scenes like this, you do kind of wonder exactly how very quickly they've escalated. You never really saw this, did you, too much with our late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Recently, even at the very start of the reign of King Charles, it's escalated, and many people have a theory as to why that is. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in Parliament Square for you today. Hope you're well. By the way, didn't Edinburgh look absolutely spectacular and held off weather-wise as well for the second coronation of His Majesty the King up in the beautiful area that we all love, which is Scotland. A particular favourite, obviously, with the British monarchy. But I know I often say this, if you are lucky enough to come to the United Kingdom, to Scotland, to Ireland, all of those beautiful places, Wales, don't just necessarily focus on London. There are some wonderful places here, but there's also some beautiful areas, even in my neck of the woods, Yorkshire, South Yorkshire, West Yorkshire. I mean, it's just a wonderful country. Do try and get to see other areas. You will be amazed, as you saw on that particular scene with the second coronation, as I say, of Queen Camilla and King Charles. Did you like, by the way, I thought she did an incredible job, the Olympic rower, Catherine Granger, carrying that very heavy Sword of Honour. What a wonderful feat she did. A lot heavier, apparently, than the one that Penny Mordaunt carried. Could it be any heavier, really? Wow. She did a terrific job, so let's all wish her well. I thought she looked great. And as I say, what an honour, what a thrill. And now you're part of the history books too. But the big thing that everybody really noticed up there, let me tell you, was the backlash against the king. You know, the "Not My King" placard. What was interesting there really was the ferocity of that. Well, a couple of things I really wanted to let you into. You know, when you see things like that, make no mistake, they are a money-making machine. Those placards, that printing, does come not free, you know. Somebody somewhere is behind that particular business. And I don't know about you as well. Have you noticed it's always these very incredibly rich people that are basically against the monarchy? And, you know, they've benefited the most. It's people like you and me that really enjoy all the spectacle, the fun, the diversion away from everyday life. We're not bothered, but seemingly the rich always are. It's the same with the Just Stop Oil people. Have you noticed that? According to a very good source, you know, the king himself was naturally very put out by this particular incident. And it wasn't really just a case of the fact that there were a lot of people chanting. And of course, the band, the regiment did their very best to drown it out. But even that really couldn't stop. But according to that very good source, there is one person in particular that senior members of the British monarchy feel has made this worse over the last, say, 18 months. None other than the former royal known as Prince Harry. If you recall, you see, Prince Harry very famously said in that Oprah Winfrey interview, did he not, that, well, you know, he'd seen behind the red velvet curtain. He knew what went on. And as a lot of people have pointed out, you know, Harry himself diminished the mystique of the British monarchy. Others might say that started way back with his mother, the Princess of Wales, doing that now very ill-advised interview with Martin Bashir. And I would go along with that in many respects. But you see, the bottom line is, when you see all the good works that Camilla, Charles, William and Catherine, Sophie and Edward, Princess Anne are doing, it just takes one bad apple to basically ruin the lot. And a lot of people, of course, particularly the younger generation, side with the view of Harry and Meghan, that they were badly treated, even though as a 30-plus-year-old man, he was fully funded by his father, the king, failing to mention that. Meghan failing to note that, of course, she was nothing but a D-list actress until she latched on to all the connections that the monarchy had. And really, that is the bigger problem now for senior members of the British monarchy. How do they realign themselves back to a younger generation who focus on the good works? And what I find very strange in particular is all of the activists, the eco-activists. Could you ever get really anybody more woke, more eco-friendly than our current king? Of course not. But seemingly they're not happy with that either. But the finger definitely, in my opinion, points along to Harry and Meghan. They started it, they opened the door, basically trashed their family on such a level, and this has reactivated the abolish the monarchy groups and such like. And in, of course, the spectacles that we all enjoy that we saw recently up in Edinburgh. Don't believe the mainstream media. Thousands and thousands of people took to the streets of Edinburgh to wish the King and Queen Camilla well. You won't see that on the mainstream media because, again, that's not necessarily their narrative. Finally, thank you, Harry and Meghan. You tried your best, but once again, you failed. And by the way, for all those that are asking, yes, Harry did receive an invite to the second coronation, but apparently no one heard back. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.